The X-Files back on TV. For reals, not a repeat. You can tell they're not repeats because the characters have aged significantly. Just kidding, they've aged rather well. The only way you can tell the difference is Mulder no longer wears a suit. He wears a cool jacket, not unlike the one I'm currently in. The new episode is called My Struggle, or Mein Kampf in German. But it's probably best not to refer to it in German. In fact, it's probably best not to refer to anything in German. Don't mention the war. Anyway, the show begins with documentary-style narration by Mulder, where he explains his lifelong obsession with aliens. And we see a quick shot of him dressed as Spock here. As a child, for Halloween or something. Back when I was in school, Star Trek was for losers, but everyone loved the X-Files. I wish this episode had aired 15, 25 years ago. But what you gonna do? Anyway, with the style of cell phone shakiness, we're treated to UFOs flying to the sky, and Mulder listing all the UFO encounters throughout history, but then ending that now people just laugh, and all they remember is Roswell. We then see the Roswell, New Mexico crash. Pew! Then they bring back the old intro. Well, almost exactly like the old intro, but they've added Skinner's ID to the pile. Then it's straight back to Roswell and a doctor showing up at a quintessential flying saucer crash. I really love how they didn't go with those modern triangle things, but went back to the old school ones. Makes sense since it was the 40s. We're then back to the future, and Scully gets a phone call during an operation. As always. Mulder and Scully then meet up, and then we and them are introduced to a new character, Todd O'Malley. Tad O'Malley? Let's just call him the Soup. He shows up. He's like an Alex Jones conspiracy theorist, so already we all hate him. But he claims to have information that will validate Mulder's long held belief that aliens are real. They take them to an isolated cabin where something happens. Oh yeah, they meet Savetta, a young lady who has a bunch of belly buttons, much more than the usual human being should have. She claims to have been abducted and raped by aliens. Terrible. They listen to her as if she's not crazy or being manipulative. After the meeting with this chick, Community takes Mulder to go look at a Romulan cloaking device on this man-made alien spaceship, proving that humans have had UFO technology all along. Didn't they already find that out in the old series? The classic series, I guess it's called now. Mulder then travels back to Savetta and has a one-on-one meeting with her, and she changes her story. Turns out she wasn't raped by aliens, she was raped by the government. Just like we all are. Dun dun dun. Mulder then jumps to the bizarre conclusion that he was wrong all along, and aliens are just the government in ALF costumes. Didn't this happen in the classic series also? Mulder then takes Skinner down to the old X-Files office, where Mulder kicks his poor poster and rips it in half. It's a good analogy for this new series, I guess. Stepping all over the old X-Files poster. I bet they thought that that would be a good metaphor, a realization of what they were doing. Or maybe he just kicked his poster because he was upset. Scully tests her DNA for alienness, but there's none. Meanwhile, the Roswell doctor, who is now aged a smidge, meets Mulder in a park at night, keeping with old X-Files traditions of meeting in parks at night. They talk about things like smoke screens, and this validates Mulder's new theory that there is no conspiracy theories. In fact, he's got a whole new one. Scully then drives to Mulder's house and finds him shacked up with Sveta. She doesn't appreciate this, since they once had a thing together. Scully wants to leave, but him and O'Malley convince her to stay and listen to their new crazy conspiracy theory about the government controlling people with weather and drugs and the internets. Scully doesn't buy any of this, characteristically. And then she reveals that Sveta doesn't have alien DNA. But the government gets to Sveta and convinces her to lie about O'Malley, claiming that he made her lie about being raped by aliens. Sveta then has engine troubles and is beamed me up, Scotty. By which I mean she's blown up by an alien spaceship, sadly. But at least she doesn't have so many belly buttons anymore. The government then blows up the Romulan ship too. They should have turned on the cloaking device and hid it from them. After O'Malley's website goes down, Mulder and Scully meet up in an underground car park, like the good old days, and discuss their next move. Scully reveals that she and Sveta has alien DNAs going on. When Skinner asks them to come and see him in a text message. Cigarette smoking man then gets a call saying that the X-Files have been reopened. Didn't that happen in the last series too? I really hope this revival X-Files does very well. There's another one on tonight called Founders Mutation. Can't wait for that one. It was directed by Mr. Wong. And apparently it's going to be a very good one on Fox. But yeah, I hope the X-Files is successful, because then they can bring back some of my old favourites from the 90s, like Star Trek Next Generation, Seinfeld, and The Simpsons.